A state senator presented research on domestic violence protective order cases in Kentucky before the Interim Joint Committee on Judiciary.
Senator Cassie Chambers Armstrong says her data was collected in 101 courtrooms across 76 of Kentucky's counties. As WKYT's Samantha Valentino shows us, the numbers show a stark difference in some areas of resources between urban and rural parts of the Commonwealth.
In her research on domestic violence protective order cases in Kentucky, Senator Cassie Chambers Armstrong says she hopes to answer a few questions.
Where are we under-resourcing our different types of systems? And ultimately, at the end of the day, what can we do to support survivors of domestic violence and make sure that they can navigate the court system? And all these laws we pass to support survivors mean something because people can utilize the courts for relief.
The data shows some disparities between urban and rural counties.
We did see less representation in rural areas, less access to information about supportive services in rural areas, and some key differences in what those dockets look like and how those dockets operate across the state.
Aubrey Gerard, an attorney with the Nest, says the data highlights a need for wraparound services across urban and rural communities, a need she says she's witnessed firsthand.
I gave legal advice and representation to 309 people in the year of 2023, and I was physically able to be in court for 98 of those people.
Those people have been in both urban and rural counties. Gerard says while her clients in urban areas often struggle finding access to resources such as shelters, the pool of options is much smaller for those in rural areas.
The only thing I can give them is, well, there's resources over here in the urban county. You can come over here. Well, can they? Do they have a car? Does the aggressor let them drive their car?
When it comes to access to legal aid, Senator Chambers' data found that people in rural areas on average had to travel farther than those in urban areas.
For urban folks, those resources were about 17 minutes from their house. In rural cases, for our rural petitioners, they had to travel almost an hour to get to a legal aid office. And you can think about all the ways that that creates a barrier to folks even initiating the protective order process.
In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
And Senator Armstrong says she doesn't have any legislation drafted based on the data that she presented today, but she hopes it will spark a conversation about the areas the state can improve on to support the survivors of domestic violence.